You're watching The Finance Report. I'm Mallory Hoff alongside David Wilkinson, and Mike Riedmiller will be joining us shortly to break down the keys for confidence in your retirement.
That's right. We have a packed show ahead. We'll discuss what it takes not just to survive, but thrive during your retirement. In 15 and 15, we're going to talk about taxes, 401ks, and ChatGPT as a stock predictor. Ladies and gentlemen, I kid you not. Plus, the wild ride with the stock market.
But first, joining us now is Mike Riedmiller. Mike is a financial advisor and the president of Riedmiller Wealth Management, an Omaha area firm that helps people prepare for a confident retirement. Mike is also a popular radio show host.
So, Mike, unfortunately, economic factors, they can turn people's mindsets into, I have to survive retirement, and that's certainly not what we want.
No, not at all. You worked years and decades building up that life savings. You don't want to just survive. You want to thrive in retirement.
What are you finding that pre-retirees are missing right now in their planning process?
Yeah, great question. And a lot of it is that planning that they're missing. They seem to have kind of a set it and forget it portfolio, just hoping things work out, or a buy and hold strategy. Unfortunately, a lot of them don't have that plan in place.
Well, let's attack that right now. Why is buy and hold something so many people might be taking into retirement?
Well, they just don't know any different.
Okay.
You know, a lot of people I hear, they've worked all these years and decades, and they never really thought much about their retirement or their 401k. They put the money in there, they hope it works out, but unfortunately, they don't have a retirement plan in place, which includes a lot of different features and factors.
Sounds like some of those folks have actually never had a conversation with a financial advisor. Why do you think people put that off?
Yeah, just they're busy. They're working. They're paying the bills. They've got kids. They're doing the weekend activities, just trying to get through the week and the month. And it's just easy to put off. It's important, but it's not urgent.
Yeah.
So because there's no deadline, like taxes, April 15th every year, we got to pay those. But with retirement planning, easy to just kind of kick the can down the road and, okay, I'll get to that sometime.
Sure.
What kind of concerns can rise if we wait to getting to it sometime, even if we have quite a bit of wealth built up?
Yeah, great question, David. There's two things that nobody knows. Number one, how many more years or decades your money needs to last. But number two, what's coming in the stock market. And that's the big one. It's what's coming next in the market. Look, when you're younger, market volatility, you're still contributing to your account, might not be as big of a factor, but coming up on retirement, or especially already retired, market volatility, you could take a big hit. So if somebody's within 5 to 10 years of retirement, we need to have a conversation. They should with somebody, some kind of financial advisor or professional.
So, Mike, I think a lot of people know that as they approach retirement, they need to pull back on the amount of risk they're taking on. But how often do you find fear of missing out on potential gains cost people?
It can be hard because fear and greed can drive the market.
Yeah.
So people, sometimes when the market's up, they have that greed factor. But again, we've got to have that plan in place. Look, you can still grow money, but you might want to be a little more conservative and even more diversified as you're coming up on retirement or already retired.
Yeah.
Well, on the note of that, I've heard you talk about combining protection and growth, protected growth strategies. Why is it important for retirees to maybe consider that type of approach?
Yeah, because they're coming up in retirement or already retired, they don't have as long a timeline. They don't have time to make up for market downturns. Also, if you think about in your younger years, you're not withdrawing from your account. So market goes down, you're not withdrawing, you can have time to recover. But you think about required minimum distributions, or you're retired, you don't have time for that market to come back maybe, but also withdrawing from a down market, that's like a double downturn.
Yeah. You talk a lot about generating multiple streams of income for our retirement. Let's talk about the first step you take.
Yeah, it comes down to income planning, because with that, a lot of people are going to get Social Security. Fewer people are going to get pensions. So we've got to look at other income sources like dividend paying stocks, maybe if they have rental income or farm or something like that. Some people might use certain types of annuities in certain situations. There's just different things. The more streams of income in retirement, the better it can be. Now, when it comes to income, got to make sure that we've got a plan in place and balance it against expenses. So you obviously want more income than expenses. If expenses are higher, there can be a gap, and we've got to figure that out.
Sure.
When we insulate our income in retirement, what does that allow us to do with the rest of our money?
Great question. With that, so you've got the income planning and the income in place. Well, then with the investment side, we can maybe be a little more growth oriented. And if there is volatility on the investment side, if the income side is different or insulated from that, it won't be affected. So that's where investment planning along with income planning comes into play.
You touched on taxes earlier, so important and
Yes.
yet so frequently overlooked. What do pre-retirees need to know?
Mallory, taxes can be one of the biggest expenses that people have in retirement. It could cost them tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, sometimes millions of dollars in retirement over the course of years and decades, as far as that goes. So you think about the tax rate. A lot of people feel like it could be increasing in the future. So there's different tax strategies and things to think about, but it can be huge. That's got to be part of the conversation and planning process.
How did we get here where tax planning or the lack of tax planning could potentially cost us that much money?
Yeah. Well, there's increasing national debt, potential for increases in the tax rate because of that national debt. And a lot of people don't think about it because if you've got an IRA or a 401k, you're basically in partnership with Uncle Sam. So what do I mean by that? For every dollar that comes out, Uncle Sam gets some of it and you get some of it. Now you're going to get the majority of it, but they get some. So that's a partnership that a lot of people do not like that
Whether we
setup.
want it or not.
Yes,
Whether you want it or not, we all have that same uncle,
Yeah.
Uncle Sam. But again, think about it. You don't get all of the money from your IRA or 401k, unfortunately.
A complicated partnership for sure. Great
Yes.
information, which means the time to act is now.
Absolutely. Today, exclusively for our Finance Report viewers, Riedmiller Wealth Management has a great offer. Right now, for the first 5 callers with a portfolio of $250,000 or greater, they're offering a complimentary full-blown retirement plan just for you. This will allow the team to sit down with you personally and provide you with a roadmap, analyzing where you are right now, and then discuss your best steps to really get ready for a confident retirement. The number to call right now, it's 402-791-6177. That's 402-791-6177. And if the lines are busy, leave a message with your name and number, and the team will call you back.
If you've been planning the way your parents did for your retirement, that may cost you in the long run. Mike, I want to talk about putting together a truly comprehensive plan for your retirement. What needs to be on our checklist, if you will?
That's a great question. We need investment planning, income planning, tax planning, also legacy planning. So as far as investments, that's where my firm offers that complimentary review known as the Portfolio X-ray, so we can look at which investments are doing better, what's underperforming, also uncovering some of those sneaky hidden fees. Income planning, vital, because you want to make sure income from multiple sources exceeds expenses. And then tax planning. Taxes could be one of the biggest expenses retirees have, costing them tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands or more during the course of their retirement. So a lot of different aspects.
How often do people come in for that first appointment and they think they have a plan in place, but in reality, they've missed a few of these items?
Every week, a lot, Mallory. Again, a brokered statement is not a plan. So a lot of people, they've got their investments, they have an IRA or 401k, they think they've got a plan in place because maybe they've had a conversation or they've got a broker, but look, they don't have a truly customized plan in many cases.
I want to talk a little bit more about income planning and generating multiple streams of income that cannot be outlived. Obviously, this isn't something that our parents spent as much time on, right? So for this next generation preparing to retire, what do they need to know?
Well, they need to know we've got Social Security, but there could be future cuts with that possibly. People are concerned about that. Less people have pensions now than ever before, so where does the rest of the income come from? So whether required minimum distributions in the future, dividend-paying stocks, some people have rental income or farms. Some people might use annuities, certain types of annuities in certain situations. Not all the time, but a lot of different factors that we've got to look at.
If most of your money for retirement is in your 401k, what do you need to be aware of?
Well, Uncle Sam is a partner with you in that because as you withdraw money from that, he's going to get a cut, the IRS, the government, and you're going to get a lot of it, but they're also going to get some. So you've got to be aware of that. There are different potential tax strategies where we can reduce the future tax liability or tax rate that you'd have to pay.
So what does that look like then? What's that initial conversation like if you're thinking, okay, I know I need to factor in tax planning, I just don't know where to begin?
Yeah, it starts with that conversation. Talk about a person's situation, their goals. Are they retired or still working? Are they married or single? Do they have kids or grandkids? What are some of the important things to them? And we take a look at their investments, their accounts, and just continue from there. But again, it just starts with that casual conversation, whether it's at my office here in Omaha, or it can even be a phone call too.
So if all of these things work in conjunction, what can a retirement potentially look like?
Well, retirement can be more enjoyable when you have these things in place. You can have more confidence with retirement when you have your investments coordinated and working together along with an income plan, a tax plan, and also legacy planning, making sure that your loved ones will be taken care of down the road.
So Mike, earlier in the show, we touched on those who procrastinate on this. What would you say to them?
Procrastination is the enemy of wealth. Look, retirement planning, a lot of people do not feel like it's urgent, but it's very important. It's easy to procrastinate, kick the can down the road, so to speak, and say, look, I'll do it later this year or next year. I encourage people, now can be the best time to look at your retirement plan, whether you're coming up on retirement or already retired and maybe want a second opinion.
Mike, as always, wonderful insight and guidance. Thank you. We really appreciate it. And coming up on the Finance Report, we'll break down protection and growth strategies. And up next in 15 and 15, David will put Mike on the clock. But first, exclusively for our Finance Report viewers, Mike has a great offer for you. Right now, for the first 5 callers with a portfolio of $250,000 or greater, he's offering a complimentary full-blown retirement plan just for you. This will allow the team to sit down with you personally and provide you with a roadmap analyzing where you are right now and discuss your best steps to really get ready for a confident retirement. The number to call right now, 402-791-6177. Again, 402-791-6177. And if the lines are busy, leave a message with your name and your number, and the team will call you back.
From his couch seat to his feet, it's time for 15 and 15. 15 topics in 15 seconds for Mike. One question to start this off. Are you ready, sir?
Ready or not, let's roll.
Here we go. Question number
right.
1. According to a report, many workers believe inflation is the biggest obstacle when it comes to having a more secure retirement. But Mike, why do you disagree?
Well, inflation's one aspect, but look, market risk and not having a plan, those can be huge because we've always had inflation. Sometimes it's higher, sometimes it's lower, but a lot of times people have more risk and volatility and not as diversified as they thought they were. There's a real risk.
There, love the way you put that right there. Inflation on the list, but not necessarily number 1. Question number 2, confidence can be found for investors doing it their own way, especially if they've made money. But Mike, why is overconfidence something to be wary of when dealing with the market?
Yeah, well, let's look at the history of the market.
Okay, let's
just go back 20, 25 years. The market was down 3 consecutive years around 2001. Went up, 2008 was down, has gone up and down. In 2022, it was down. If we think about the next 5, 10, 15 years, there's likely to be a number of market downturns, which can affect a person's retirement.
Yeah, perfect transition to question number 3. Do you feel enough of pre-retirees really understand what their risk level is?
Absolutely not, unfortunately.
Yeah.
See, a lot of times people come into my office, they say they're invested conservatively. The numbers tell a different story.
Why do they think they're invested conservatively?
Well, I think they hope or they were told that. So either they're doing it themselves and they're hoping they're invested conservatively, or they were told that by somebody else, like maybe another advisor or broker.
Okay, well, yeah, let's get that plan on paper. That's the better solution in my opinion. Question number 4, when it comes to paying for retirement, people have their theories on how they'll go about doing this, but why is thinking your investments are the best route to fund your retirement something you say, that may not be the best route?
Yeah, it comes down to income planning.
Okay.
Because look, if we're depending on a withdrawal rate, then that could be part of the plan. But if it's all reliant upon market performance, there can be some pitfalls. In other words, if we need the market to perform a certain way to have a retirement that we want, there could be pitfalls because nobody knows where the market's going next.
Absolutely. Sidebar on you right now. 4% rule, outdated or still something to go with?
Yeah, it can be outdated. There's different articles about it. The person that originally came up with that decades ago, it was a general rule of thumb, and then for whatever reason, it picked up traction, and so it can work potentially, but again, we've got to sharpen the pencil to make sure, because we don't want to leave somebody's life savings to chance and fear of running out of money.
Love that answer. Question number 5, most of the current retirees out there get retirement funding. It can be from Social Security, perhaps pensions, personal savings, but for those on the verge of retirement, that doorstep, how might their funding actually look different?
Yeah, with that, a lot of questions about Social Security and what that could look like in the next 10, 20 years. So that can be part of it. But like you said, pensions are less likely than ever. So that's where the income planning comes into play. Because in retirement, the more income sources, the better. Expenses keep coming, but that paycheck from the job does not. So we've got to, how do we fill that void?
Yeah, a confident feeling right there. Question number 6, no retirement plan should be of the cookie cutter variety, your words. So when it comes to an annuity, what age typically makes sense for one?
Annuities come in a lot of shapes and sizes. It's certainly not a one-size-fits-all proposition. Some people use them. So if somebody does start an annuity, sometimes we see that in their later 50s or early 60s, so they can let the money and the income potential grow. I've seen other people where they enter an annuity in their later 60s or even their 70s. So it just depends. Again, the thing with annuities, they're more flexible today than they've ever been. So for some people, it can make sense. Other people, maybe not so much.
Good to know. Question number 7, health expenses could be your largest risk during retirement, 6 figures plus. So what's the best way to cover these costs?
Traditional long-term care has been use it or lose it.
Okay.
You pay into it for years, premiums can go up, coverage can be cut, and if you never use it, you really don't benefit from it. There's some newer options out there that can be one-time funding from a 401k or IRA or a retirement account or even a bank account. You never have to pay into it again. If you need the money for long-term care, you've got it. If you don't need it, you can get the money back or it'll go to beneficiaries. So those are some of the newer things, but certainly something to think about. A lot of people could need long-term care in the future. It can be one of the biggest expenses along with taxes in retirement.
Absolutely. My man dialed in on the first half of
Right
15
here.
and 15. It's like he knows what he's talking about. Still more to come, but first, today exclusively for our Finance Report viewers, Mike has a great offer. Right now, for the first 5 callers with a portfolio of $250,000 or greater, he's offering a complimentary full-blown retirement plan just for you. This will allow the team to sit down with you personally and provide you with a roadmap, analyzing where you are right now, and then discuss your best steps to really get ready for a confident retirement. The number to call right now, it's 402-791-6177. Again, that's 402-791-6177. And if the lines are busy, leave a message with your name and number, and the team will call you back. Time now for the second half of 15 and 15. We open with question number 8. Retirement can last 10, 20, 30, 40 years. But Mike, when we act as if retirement is an unknown amount of time, what concerns you?
Yeah, a lot of concerns. Nobody knows how long they're going to live, how many decades their money needs to last. The other unknown, what could be coming in the stock market in the future. Those are 2 critical components that we've got to use as part of that planning process.
Yeah, let's minimize the concerns. Question number 9. We've seen a lot of people over the past few years diving into their 401ks to address immediate emergencies or even unemployment. Thoughts on this strategy?
You should try to avoid that at all costs.
Okay.
Look, if you're in a cash crunch, I understand it might be tempting, but that should be the last place you take money from, because again, if you take it out, you're probably not going to pay it back. You've depleted that. Now you're going to delay what your future retirement could look like. So highly recommend that you do not do that at all costs.
Yeah, no winners in that situation. No. Question 10, a study found that over a 2-year period, nearly 50% of people cashed out some of their 401k after leaving a job. What's the risk there?
Well, it could delay retirement and they could have less money in retirement.
Okay.
So whatever your 401k number is, if you reduce that by 5%, 10%, 20%, you're taking away future earning potential. And look, everybody, you don't have to be a math genius for this. Sure. You're going to have less money when you want to retire. So you're either going to have less withdrawals in retirement, less future enjoyment, or you're going to have to delay retirement and work longer. So not a pretty picture there. So again, do not take money out of 401k if you can help it before you retire.
Yeah, present day you needs to be thinking about future you.
Yes.
Question number 11, there are a lot of investment options for people and their money, but why do you say people should consider a Roth IRA?
Taxes can be one of the biggest expenses
Yep.
in retirement. Whatever you take from your IRA and convert to a Roth today, you pay the taxes, but then your future tax liability will be reduced. That's tax-free money coming out of the Roth. So that could be a huge savings to your future self. So do your future self a favor. Get a Roth IRA. It's not a one-size-fits-all situation. When I do that, I love coordinating with clients, CPAs, or tax professionals, so we make sure that we get it right, because it's not something you just want to Google an article online and say, well, I think it'll work like this. Do it with some pros. That's my recommendation.
I like it. And you said tax-free. That had my attention. Question number 12, retirement ready. How would Mike Riedmiller define retirement ready?
Somebody that's got a plan in place. Investment planning, income planning, tax planning, also legacy planning. Having all those things working together, not having a buy and hold strategy or buy and hope, but having a real plan from a retirement planner.
All right, question number 13. In an effort to spread financial literacy, how often are you seeing people make decisions without really understanding the whole picture?
I see it often. You know, unfortunately, with the internet, people think they can Google and look at a subject or be self-taught.
We can't?
Yeah, I know, newsflash. So anyway, think about it. Everybody's got their own field of expertise.
Sure.
So if somebody listening now is a medical professional or an engineer or whatever the case, they know more than 99% of the population, probably 99.9%. Well, my field of expertise and experience is in retirement planning. So with me and my team, we're going to know more than 99.9%. It's just, you know, a fact, and it's just common sense. So again, leave it to the pros. I don't try to fix my own car or do things outside of my lane. I stay in my lane, retirement planning, and I hire the best when I'm outside of that.
I love that. Question number 14. What are the big concerns you have when people in the retirement red zone hit pause on their retirement savings?
Big dangers there. You know, we talked earlier about withdrawing from retirement. That's a no-no, but hitting pause, that's almost just as bad, because again, you're reducing what that future investment amount or account value can be in your 401k. So when you hit pause, do not do that by all means if you can help it.
Yeah, we're looking to maximize our retirement.
Yeah.
Final question at 15 and 15. I've been waiting all episode for your answer on this. According to a recent research paper, ChatGPT can predict how stocks will perform. So, sir, are you going to be using ChatGPT for stock picks?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
At least not right now. Let's. Anytime something new comes out, I don't want to be the test subject.
Okay, fair enough.
See how it works for other people. Look, a lot of potential with that, but we're still very early into the game with that. So I'm really taking a wait and see approach with that. I just like the idea of something that's tried and true, that we know what works, and some of this new stuff, again, let's take that wait and see approach, especially when it comes to somebody's life savings.
Yeah, I really like that answer. I can tell you it's great for writing scripts.
Okay.
Not that I used it for this show, though. I promise. My own fingers. Mike, you're off the clock at 15 and 15. Great work, sir.
All right.
For those looking to get a better handle on their retirement today, exclusively for our Finance Report viewers, Mike has a great offer for you. Right now, for the first 5 callers with a portfolio of $250,000 or greater, he's offering a complimentary full-blown retirement plan just for you. This will allow the team to sit down with you personally and provide you with a roadmap, analyzing where you are right now, and then discuss your best steps to really get ready for a confident retirement. The number to call right now is 402-791-6177. Again, that's 402-791-6177. And if the lines are busy, leave a message with your name and number, and the team will call you back.
We're going to take a trip back in time now to 2008 for a moment. To say that was a challenging time in this country would be an understatement. Mike, we should have learned from this stretch of volatility. My question is this: have we?
A lot of people have not, unfortunately. If we look at 2008 right here, the market was down around 40%. But Mallory, actually, from the fall of 2007 to the spring of 2009, it was actually down over 50%. Some people saw a 60% drop or more, depending how they were invested.
Mike, your team does a complimentary portfolio x-ray. How often do you find that someone thinks their portfolio could withstand the next major storm, but in reality, you see very quickly it wouldn't?
Very common and very often, unfortunately, for people. A lot of times they have more risk than they're aware of. Mallory, here in 2022, the market was way down there also.
Yeah.
Now, for some folks, it's come back, but if we think about the next 5, 10, 20 years, forward, a lot of these folks are retired. How many more market downturns are we going to have like we saw in 2008 and in 2022? So, Mallory, there's an old saying, history does not necessarily repeat itself, but many times will rhyme. So what does that mean? There's going to be more market downturns. We don't know. So 40% like in 08, I'm not saying it's going to be like that again, might not be as much, or it could be more. We just don't know. We've got to be prepared for that.
So with that in mind, paint me a picture, Mike. What does a big financial hit potentially look like for someone who is getting very close to retirement?
It could be devastating. It might mean that they have to delay retirement or even go back to work or cut back on that lifestyle as far as that goes. Because again, all these different downturns we saw around 2001, 08, we saw in 2022. So moving forward, where will that be? Ups and downs? Again, it can affect retirement and their lifestyle and also cause some added stress, something we want to try to avoid.
So how can we avoid, as we get close to retirement, feeling like we're on this market roller coaster ride?
Comes down to that planning process, specifically investment planning along with income planning and tax planning. But with investment planning, we want a truly diversified and balanced portfolio, a protected growth strategy with some layers and levels of protection built in.
And for those who are living by the opening and the closing bell, what do you say?
Yeah, not a fun way to spend retirement. I know people that every day, even though they're retired, they're watching the stock market. Some of them watch it first thing in the morning, throughout the day, and then at the end of the day. And they're doing that every day. If the market's up, they're in a good mood. If the market's down, they're in not such a good mood. Not the kind of thing you want in a confident and comfortable retirement.
No way to live, and the time to act is now. If you want to be sure you understand just how much risk you're taking on, Riedmiller Wealth Management has a great offer for you. Right now, for the first 5 callers with a portfolio of $250,000 or greater, they're offering a complimentary full-blown retirement plan just for you. This will allow the team to sit down with you personally and provide you with a roadmap analyzing where you are right now and discuss your best steps to really get ready for a confident retirement. The number to call right now, 402-791-6177. And if the lines are busy, leave a message with your name and your number, and the team will call you back.
All right, as we wrap up the show, Mike, what do you believe are some of the most important keys for someone that is in or nearing retirement to be thinking about?
There's so many different issues and everybody's situation is different and unique. It comes down to investment planning, income planning, tax planning, putting all of those together.
And with all of that in mind, you actually have something very special for our viewers who are watching at home.
I do, and I'm really excited about this. For the first 5 callers with a portfolio of $250,000 or greater, I'd like to invite you into the office where the team will sit down with you personally and help you create your very own retirement plan. If the lines are busy, please leave a voicemail and I will commit to calling you back.
A very generous offer. Mike, thanks so much for the great advice and your insight today. We really do appreciate it. So for you at home, exclusively for our Finance Report viewers, Riedmiller Wealth Management has a great offer. Right now, for the first 5 callers with a portfolio of $250,000 or greater, they're offering a complimentary, full-blown retirement plan just for you.
This will allow the team to sit down with you personally and provide you with a roadmap analyzing where you are right now and discuss your best steps to really get ready for a confident retirement. The number to call right now, 402-791-6177. Once again, that number, 402-791-6177. And if the lines are busy, leave a message with your name and your number, and the team will call you back.
For all of us at the Finance Report, thanks for tuning in, and we look forward to catching you back here next time.